Hi everyone, I want to know how many of you out there can keep with me for a few minutes while I give you my take on what's happening to a lot of us out there. We're halfway through the year, and have you got to where you wanted to? It's nearly June 30, it's the end of the financial year for some people, but whatever it is, it's 6 months in and it's done and dusted. So from what you said on the 1st of January when you had all those New Year's resolutions of what you wanted to do, how far have you travelled on that journey? So I'm going to talk about anxiety, depression, and then maybe whatever comes from that there. But my main focus is on trauma. So just stay with me and see what you think about this and how much you agree with it. And just at the end of it, if you've gone to the end, just put high five. All right, that's all you need to comment. High five, and please like and share it, because you never know who out there might want this information or might even need this information. So let's start off, okay? Trauma. We look at trauma and people think, okay, emergency services or people working in the defence. But trauma isn't just absolutely exclusively for them. Trauma could be anyone. Trauma can be, as I've said, having childbirth. Some childbirths can be extremely traumatic. And it could be a car accident. It could be your first day at school. You don't know what it is, because the thing is, we're all individual. So anyone's trauma can affect another person totally different. And you may look at someone and say, oh my God, is that all they're upset about? Or is that what they think's a trauma? God, they should hear what I've been through. Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter what you've been through, because it's about them. It's not about you. They're the ones having the problem. And if you've gone through a lot, well, obviously your coping mechanisms are more defined in certain ways than what another person's coping mechanisms are. So this is how I look at it, okay? Say it's someone who's actually even gone through a young child that's had divorced parents, or it could be a person that's gone on their first driving lesson and had a car accident. It could be the first time your child tried to stand up, fell over, hurt themselves, and they didn't want to walk for quite some time. Or maybe it's that when you've lived in a home for so long and then you shift. Have you ever seen or heard, because there's been research done on this, where someone who's lived in their home for 50 years and, you know, they could be getting on in age, and then they shift, and then within 6 months after that, they start getting dementia, a trauma. So this is my little take on it with trauma and anxiety, okay? We have the trauma, okay? And then from the trauma, without knowing it, we have this secret little thing here, and we'll just call it PTSD, okay? So this is what's happening. We have the trauma, and then we have the PTSD. But what we have from that is actually the anxiety. Now, the thing is that when this is usually diagnosed, we don't actually see this one here, okay? This is not what you're being diagnosed with. What you're being diagnosed with is this. So when you're diagnosed with that, you're going to be medicated or treated for this one. Correct. When, and it keeps going and you can't get over it, you don't know why still after months and months you've still got this trauma, or actually the anxiety, which of course could then, of course, go to depression. So as you can see, it's just going to keep going that way. But the thing is that no one actually looked at it and said, okay, fine, well, we'll treat the anxiety and we'll treat the depression, because this is what has given them this, right? They're just looking at that whole thing and they're saying that it's the anxiety and the depression, and that's what we're going to treat you for. So we're either going to treat you with whatever mind therapy or whatever medical drugs that you're getting given for anxiety or depression. And then you're on it for years and years, months and months, whatever, okay? And you wonder, why is it that I'm still like this when I really just want to live life? Well, the reason is, all my friends out there, is because you haven't been diagnosed with the trauma, and they haven't seen that the trauma, no matter how small or large it is, because they're judging it from their own point of view and not from yours, okay, actually was PTSD. So that's why you're not getting fixed, because these are actually incorrect. All they are is they're a carry-on from the trauma, that first trauma. And in some cases, you're so much concerned with your anxiety and depression that you don't even know when it started. For all you know, it's been all your life. Well, the thing is, there's something that's triggered it at some point. And to get that trigger and to get down to the pinpoint it and know is then when you can go through, you find the trauma, and what do? You fix the PTSD. That's what you do. You fix that one. That's the one we want. And then when we fix the PTSD, guess what starts to go? It just starts to fade. This does. And this does. And then eventually, they all do. The trauma, that goes. And then you get to actually live life. So, what do you think? Do you think it could be? Could that be you? Could I have described you? Well, if you think I have, and if you want to ask me a question, you can easily comment at the end of this video, and I will get back to you. I get back to everyone. If you want to message me privately, you can do that as well. It's totally up to you. But I would appreciate you actually sharing this on, because you never know who's got a mask on and who actually wants to live. Thank you.